Oh, y'all, it is cold outside today, and it's Romania Black, and that's okay that it's cold outside because we have an episode of Windbreaker that's gonna cozy us and warm us up and get our blood a pumping, right? mm. So yes, we're on episode 6 already of Windbreaker, which is crazy to me that we're already halfway through the season. This is the halfway point of season 1. I'm so glad I have a second season to watch. I'm so glad there's a second season. Because just settling for being halfway through, like, I'm okay being a fourth of the way done, but if I was a halfway done, it would be, I would not be a happy Romania, that's for sure. But it is very chilly outside, so I am bundled up today, and I am excited to get into episode 6 with y'all. We have some comments to talk about before we start, so we just need to dive right into it. So, I've got 2 comments from Sunspots, one for episode 2 and one for episode 3, and then a couple of comments for episode 3. So let's get into it. Sunspots for episode 2 says, I believe the voice actor, Sunspots, I'm glad you looked this up because nobody else did. They were like, I think the voice actor of the male baker that you're wanting to know about is Kazumasa Nakamura. I know him from some video games mostly, and while he's not had many prominent roles, he's very prolific and has done many guest characters in a bunch of shows you've reacted to recently, such as Dan to Dan, Delicious in Dungeon, Orb, etc. Lovely voice. I agree. His voice, I was like, ooh, hello, sir. Very nice voice. Thank you for looking that up. I was like, nobody's going to look that up for me. And then you did. So thank you. Sunspot also says for episode 3, this is really funny to me because we're going to compare Sakura to a couple things in these comments, and they're all very valid. But Sunspot says, poor Hirage got put in charge of the 2 problem children right away, Sakura and Sugi. I like that you call Kyotaru Sugi. I had never thought Sugi. That name is hard for me to say, but Sugi is actually a really nice way to go around that. So I might end up calling him Sugi instead of Kyotaru. We'll see. But yeah, Umamiya, whilst he trusts Hiragi to be able to take care of Sakura and Sugi, he also is kind of a sadist for putting Hiragi through all that pressure, knowing that Hiragi is such like an irritable stomach setup and all of that. So Umamiya is kind of savage for that. But then I cannot get over, Sunspot says, I cannot get the image of Sakura as a puffy Pomeranian out of my head. He gets so excited when he sees someone who thinks he might be a badass. Look, Sakura is a Pomeranian, but as we will note in this next couple comments, he's also other things as well. Salieri in episode 3 says, it's cool how Sakura, the Sakura in Sakura's name means cherry, the Sa, and then the Ume in Umamiya's name means plum. That actually, I'm so glad you said Ume means plum because I know there's Ube and then Ume. I forgot Ume is plum, and I was like, oh, okay. Also, I think that's kind of fun because Sakura meaning cherry and Ume and Umamiya meaning plum, there's both the possibility of them being sour, like sour cherries and sour plums, but they can also be sweet. So I think that duality of having the sweet and sour is going to come into play when we see Umamiya later on, when he actually has to fight. Right now, he's all like sweet plum Umamiya, but I have a feeling when he gets down to brass tacks, it might be a little bit of a different story, but we're not ready for that yet. I don't think that's going on in this episode. And then Alexander Q says, I think that Umamiya didn't only give the Furin guys a sense of belonging, which is very important, but also a purpose, a reason to be, which is a very powerful combination that he focused on for good. These kids who were rejects and probably told they couldn't amount to much, thinking that they were in similar spots as Sakura, now have a place that will accept them and protect them. But all their energy that previously was just focused on fighting is redirected into protecting and doing good. And as a result, they get appreciation and respect from other people in the town. Gotta say, it's a smart move and a powerful combination. Yeah, I'm all for, as if you've watched my Run with the Wind reactions, I'm all for restorative justice and mediation and things like that. So I find this method that Umamiya has developed to be amazing and to obviously be effective. So I agree. I think it's a great combination, and I'm sure we'll talk about it as we go through this series. But then here's the thing about the dogs and Sakura, because we had Sunspot saying that Sakura's like a Pomeranian. Then Alexander Q says, I love how wacky the characters are. Suo is a sadist. supposedly, so far. He's also a gentleman, but this was for episode 3, so we hadn't gotten that far yet. Hiragi is a worrywart. Umemiya is a silly guy. We'll see. Togami is an intense murder vibes. And Sakura, when I tell you I laughed out loud when I read this because I wasn't expecting it, Alexander Q labels Sakura a combat chihuahua. A combat chihuahua, vicious on the outside and soft on the inside. It's fun to see them interact. A combat chihuahua is maybe what I'm going to be thinking about for him for a long time now. Look, Sakura is just cat coded and he is just small, tiny dog coded, which some small dogs are basically cats. So my one, Huckleberry, is basically a cat in dog form. I've come to accept that. Or he's just an Aries. I can't decide. But, I mean, Ruby's a mother truckin' Libra, so, you know. Anyway, that was hilarious. Thank you. And then Ann says, by the way, Togami Joe means the game part. It actually means, so the game part of Togami, so the game part of Togami actually means turtle. And I think that's why they purposefully make him talk slowly. That's kind of cool. Also, I think... Okay, I agree with you. I think that is part of it, but I think it also has an extra meaning. Whenever I see him in the wooden sandals, I also think of Master Roshi, who lived in the turtle house in Dragon Ball Z, and Master Roshi wore like I think he wore the wooden sandals as well, and like talked slow, but was actually really powerful. And he lived in a place called the Turtle House. So I think there might be, since it's shonen, I think there might be like a double meaning attached to it. Regardless, I think it's amazing. And I really like Togami's character. I like him a lot. Do I think we're getting to him in this episode? No. I think that, thank you all for the comments, by the way. I've really enjoyed reading them. The ones that I can read, the mods have had to flag a couple, so don't worry. If there's a spoiler, I won't be reading it, but I also am going to get to the series. So if I miss something, I'll probably figure it out later. But anyway, I don't think we're getting to Togami's fight today. I think that the match is at least going to be Hiragi and the one friend from long ago, the childhood friend that is now not childhood friends. I think that's going to be the focus today. Now, whether we get through that match and then start Sakura versus Togami, I don't know. Or if we're going to give the whole episode to Hiragi. Last week we did 2. We had 2 matches. We had Sugi and we had Suo. I don't know if we're going to get through Hiragi and get to Sakura versus Togami in this same episode. But we might. So in any case, I really appreciate y'all watching with me. I love this series. I'm super excited. We are skipping the OP for one more episode, and then we'll be able to watch the OP after this week. But I think we have to wait a couple more weeks for the ED. I do believe so. Yeah, the ED I can watch after episode 8. OP I can watch after this episode. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. But anyway, I hope you all are excited. I definitely am. We are going to start episode 6 of Windbreaker, and we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it to it. Oh, I'm sorry. This episode was really good. I'm very surprised. I thought that Sako was gonna win. Shows what I know. Shows what I know. And Hiragi's stepping up. Oh, Hiragi. All right. We're going to talk about this. I can watch the OP after this episode, but I'm going to wait until next week and then react to it with you all. And then the following episode, after episode 8, I'll be able to watch the ED at the end. So that's exciting. Yay. Yay, rah. That will be a fun time. So I want to look up who Sako's voice actor is. Sako, Windbreaker, Japanese VA. Who is that? Sako is, oh! Okay, Chiaki Kobayashi. Come on. Okay. If you don't know who Kobayashi voices, he's been in a lot of things. He started voice acting in 2017, so he's not been like, he played young Askeladd in Vinland Saga, so that's be the first one that I've seen. He's also been in a lot of other things recently. I'm trying to think. Some of these things I know, like Play It Cool Guys, I want to see that eventually. He's been in, Horimiya. I want to see that eventually. Oh, he's Stark and Frieren. Okay, yes. So he's Stark and Frieren. Okay. That makes sense. He's also Adachi and Cherry Magic. Oh my gosh. Well, of course Sako's Adachi and Cherry Magic. Of course he is. Of course he is. Also, I'm trying to think of anything else I've seen. Let's see, any other shows that I have watched. It's mainly that one. And he's Yoshiki in The Summer Hikaru Dies. Oh, well, you know. So basically, he's used to playing a BL character. Sako just got so heterozoned so hard in this episode. I was like, oh no. We're going to talk about it, but man, look, if you told me that Hirage is our bisexual disaster king, I'd believe that. We're going to talk about it. So let's get into this episode. Love the setting right off the bat. The moment they start, there are the crows and ravens circling the Orion, circling the building, like just, ominous signs, right? And so we cut to Kanama getting absolutely destroyed, as his teammates would say. The fact that Suo was like, oh, I, got a little emotional there. I was like, you weren't really that emotional. At least you didn't seem too much, but Okay, so I looked on their jackets, right? On their jackets, there are bands on each one. So they said that Suo was a first year, and I was like, well, how? Okay. But then if you look, Sugi, aka Kiyotaro, he has one little stripe on his jacket sleeve. Umemiya has 3. Hiragi has 3. So that's where we are. Okay. So we've got all that. Nice. Glad we clarified that. Glad we found a little system to show us who's whose. But yeah, so it was like, oh, who, me, what? Not at all. So here's a little mystery. I didn't bring Whiteboard Kun out for this episode, but a little mystery. We don't know who Suo's master was. There's a lot of questions I have about his master. Like, was his master an old man? Was his master somebody from a rival gang that we're eventually going to run into? Was his master like his foster dad? I have lots of questions about Suo's mentor. I'm sure we'll find out. I don't want spoilers. We'll find out as the series goes. It's a little mystery right now. I like a little mystery. We'll just keep it up in the air. But yeah, so his master taught him like the hodgepodge style. He learned on his own as well. Is that so? So he's like, his master, and Hiragi's like, so you get emotional too. That was unexpected. He's like, oh, embarrassing. Didn't mean to let that out. I was just absolutely livid. I normally don't act like that. And then Sakura's like, quit blaming others and bragging. He's like, quit bragging. And he's like, well, there you go again, Sakura. That's all you talk about. You seem like a nuisance. I wouldn't want to go up against you. Suo and Sakura, I ship them so hard. I love them as a ship. And I love Narai's just holding him back. And he's like, out of the way. Umemiya is on the same boat as me. Umemiya is shipping Sakura and Suo hardcore as well. He's like, wow, they're influencing each other. I'm like, oh, is that what the kids are calling it nowadays? I see how it is. Yeah. He's like, oh, stupid. And I'm like, calm down. He's like, they'll make a fine team. Umemiya is shipping hardcore. And poor Kyotaro's just like, what am I, chopped liver? Also, I want to point out how adorable it was that Sugi is seated right next to Umemiya. He's like right next to his like most valued mentor. He's like, no. I get to sit next to Umemiya-san. So Kanama drags his friend away and they have this moment. Look, sound design is great in this series. I like the little song that played while Hiragi and Sako were fighting. But whenever Kanama drags the one guy away, the silence. There's like no sound. And nobody from Shishitorin is helping them. They're like, nope, you get to drag your own out. Now, we're going to talk about Hiragi and Togumi's little confrontation at the end, but I think it's interesting that I'm seeing a pattern here, and we're going to talk about it whenever Sako gets taken out. But yeah, just absolute silence. And he's like, it's the end. We're done for. I do feel like we've not really talked about it very much yet in the series, but this is the first gang that we've interacted with. Like, what happens if they are kicked out? Like, could they go to another gang? Are they going to be targeted by Shishitorin? Do they go find somewhere else? I could see how that would be difficult because if you lived in this neck of the woods, you know, do you leave where you live and go somewhere else, like another part of the city? Like, how does that work? So we've not really gotten into the gang logic of it, so I'm curious how that's going to evolve as we go, but interestingly enough. And then Choji's just a loose cannon. Choji's like, I want to fight him next. And he's like, no. Togami keeps Choji in line. And Sakura is like ready to go. But then Sako stands up and is like, I ain't fighting you, bitch. I'm going to fight my childhood friend. If you've not watched Haikyuu, then you don't know about the character Kinma. But the character Kinma has the blonde hair like Sako has, the bleached hair. But their roots are the dark color. Here, Sako's roots are like, he's only dyed like the top of his hair, which is interesting. It's a little color reversal there. So yeah, and Hiragi's like, okay, we're going. All right. Hirage has changed a lot. Or Sako has changed a lot since like earlier on. And then I like that Sakura's like, why am I saved for later? And Hiragi's like, you clearly want to fight Togami. Like, let's be real. You want to fight Togami, so fine. Go up against Togami. It looks like he doesn't want to step up quite yet either. So we'll make it work. Togami is their second in command, so technically I should be facing him, but that's not what I mean. He's like, I trust you. I love that. I love that. Because I love that it sets this precedent, because we, the audience, know that Sako set this up from like the first time we met him. He was going to face Hiragi. So we, the audience, know. And I'm like, okay, well, how are you going to justify that Sakura's okay facing Togami? And I like that Hiragi's like, look, I'm going to face Sako because he wants to fight me. I trust you're strong enough to face the second in command of this gang. That's pretty high praise. And Sakura, you got this praise kink, so what we doing with that? And Umemiya's like, I like he immediately sits down. He's like, well, you don't need to trust me. I'll do it and I'll win. Combat Chihuahua. I will now on refer to him as Combat Chihuahua. And Suo's like, gee, it sure seems that way. And Umemiya's like, Hiragi doesn't talk about himself very often. Knowing someone outside of Furin isn't anything unusual. Umemiya knows. I feel like Umemiya is one of his attributes that I think he has that he's very good at is he knows how to read people. He's just, and that's not something you can really teach others. Some people just have a very good innate sense of understanding people. Like, I know people, the moment you meet them, they're like, they can read characters so well. And they're so good at it. I'm usually okay at it. I might be rustier than I used to be. But I feel like when I was younger, you could just tell character of people just by knowing them, right? And I feel like Umemiya kind of has that same vibe. Umemiya, he knows somebody as soon as he reads them. He's like, he gets their vibe, knows their character, knows that they're trustworthy. And I like that he automatically tells right off the bat that Hiragi is the type of person that inspires others to follow him. And that works so well with Hiragi being the second in command, because Umemiya is doing all this like top brass stuff against the other gangs. Hiragi is kind of taking up the rear. Not figuratively that we know of, or literally that we know of. We're not ready to talk about that yet. But Hiragi is behind Umemiya. Mine's out the gutters. And he is able to kind of manage all of the other Bofrin guys that's under Umemiya. Take that for how you will. There's so many sexual innuendos in this discussion so far. But yeah, he knows that Umemiya knows that Hiragi can inspire loyalty and can inspire people to follow him. So he takes advantage of that. I mean, Umemiya has told Hiragi this, I'm sure, but he takes advantage of knowing Hiragi's personality type to be like, okay, you're going to be in second command, but you're also going to be in charge of all these other guys and getting them in line. Get the ducklings in line. And Hiragi's like, fine, I'll be the mother duck. I'll be the mother goose behind you, sir. God. We're not even to the BL parts of this yet. So Sako goes up. I like Sako's little moon boots. His little rubber boots. But yeah. And Togami's like, I didn't think you'd voluntarily request a one-on-one. You're usually not like that. He's like, is there stuff between you and Hiragi? And he's like, bitch, what do you think? But yeah. So we have Sako is in the top 5. Sako is in the top 5 of Shishitorin. And Hiragi is one of the top 4 kings of Bofrin. That in itself, if we were doing math, that in itself should have determined the outcome, that you have, if Hiragi's number 4, Sako's number 5. So that should have, been the telltale sign that Hirage was going to beat Sako. But I really did think they were going to like make it a little more even keel. But I know now why they're having Hirage take out Sako, and what we might have happen next episode. Who knows? But I have an idea. I have a theory. So yeah, one of the kings that's going to be taken on. And he's like, but this is going to be fun to watch. He's like, it's been a while, Sako. You've grown a bit taller. He's like, bitch, it's been like 3 years. We haven't seen each other in 3 years. Let's be real. I can't do anything about how things turned out. I'm sorry, but I'm going to win this one. Oof. And the thing is, I don't think Hirage quite realized, or maybe he did, and maybe he's forgotten how serious that Sako was about their relationship. So yeah, Choji is very much brain rot Jin. He's like, just go ahead and get the fighting started with. How Hirage was able to pull off these moves in them tight pants, that is the miracle of this series. That is the miracle of this episode. Can we talk about the animation though? Can we talk about it? Can we talk about Sako immediately coming over and disjoining his freaking knee? Like, Togumi's face is my face. The animation of Sako's fighting was insane in this episode. Was insane. It has me so excited for Togumi to fight, for Choji to fight, for future fights. Like, this was not even like main event. No offense to Hirage and Sako, but not main event. And it was amazing. The choreography was freaking crazy. Him disjoining his leg is just insane. Also, do not judge a man in anime that wears a turtleneck. Do not. They are not to be trifled with. That leg move was crazy. He's like, not gonna win this one. You still look down on me. And it's like, Hirage did not look down on him, but I do get where Sako is coming from, where Hirage was like, Hirage was just looking out for him, but Sako at the same time is like, it's disrespectful to me that you would be like trying to protect me when we're, the same age. And I get where Sako's coming from in feeling, kind of disgusted about it all. He's like, my old self is long gone. He looks really good there. Sako has the look. The turtleneck, the belt, the black pants, the jacket. Sako had the vibes, the look. Absolutely loved it. The moment he was talking about his old self being gone, I'm like, I know this voice actor. Makes sense. And Hiragi's just like, it's like, I'll grind that in. I'll pound that into your body. No offense, but at that point I was like, will you pound it into his body? Will you? I've got to watch myself. It's so easy for me to ship, but I was like, those were translation choices. But yeah, just really good. I loved the fight choreography. It looked amazing. Loved it throughout this. The punches, everything. Like, it was so fast. And the roundhouse kicks. The kick that with the the dislocating thing. Yeah. And they're all like, get him, Sako. He's being pressured. No way. Now, honestly, Togumi is like, well, Sako is putting up a good fight, but he's one of our top 5. Okay. So we got this image of the other two. Yeah. He's like, Sako won't be inferior even against Reiji-chan. Reiji-chan. So we have 2 others that we don't see. That in itself, the fact that we have 2 more members we've not seen from this group makes me feel like we're going to see Shishitorin again. This is our first encounter with Shishitorin. We're going to see them again because we got to see 4 and 5, right? Or 3 and 4. I feel like, I don't know if Sako is number 5 or number 3. I don't know. Maybe the fact that he's standing next to them, he's number 3. I don't know. But we haven't seen the other 2 members, so interesting. Okay. He's like, well, I don't know what he's thinking about. Now that I look at the picture, we don't know if Sako is number 3 or number 5. So it could have gone, if you were thinking that he was number 3, then it would have made sense for him to beat Hirage. But after the sudden backstory, I'm like, oh, okay. I see what we're doing. He's been in more fights than anyone. And I mean, when he first joined, it felt like desperation. And then Choji's not thinking crazy. He's just like, I didn't know he could talk that much. I mean, here's the thing. Hirage wanted Sako to go do something for himself and to not follow Hirage because he wanted him to get strong enough to be able to defend himself and not rely on Hirage. And I think that's inadvertently what Sako has been able to do, which is, what Hirage wanted for him. But it's still really sad. This proves his reservations about Hirage, doesn't it? He's like, you're too straightforward and you rely heavily on pure strength. There's nothing interesting about it at all. I mean, but Hirage doesn't have to rely on anything else but pure strength. That's kind of his thing. He's just kind of this bulky, brawny guy. And that's sort of like, you need a bulky, brawny guy to be part of it. And the thing about it is, Sako's like, you've not improved because you've had this cushioned life. But I'm like, has he? I feel like Hiragi's been doing quite a lot. I didn't teach you to fight. I didn't teach you that you'll bite your tongue if you chit-chat during a fight. I love that we got that call back there. That was great. That's how quiet you were. But he's gotten faster, and that's when he kicks him against the wall. Man, Sako had some death glares in this. He's like, you've gotten weaker because you hang out with guys like that. I was like, oh, are we jealous much? We are jealous much of Umamiya. I mean, I'd be jealous of Umamiya too. Umamiya looks pretty flawless. I'd be jealous of him too, right? I feel like our poor Sako was projecting just a wee bit about his jealousy at Umamiya and that Hirage chose Umamiya over him. So then Sakura stands up and he's like, Shark Teeth, I'm talking to you. I love Suo sitting there like with his arms folded in his lap like, oh, okay. And Nirai's just like, oh my God. He's like, do you hear me, Shark Teeth? Because of you, he's mocking us. The weak part about you should be your gut. I love that he just like combat chihuahua stomps up there. The only weak part about you should be your gut, Hirage. I love Nirai's holding him back. And Suo was like, look at you. He's like, why are you laughing, Suo? He's like, stop lying. Damn you, stop lying there doing nothing. He's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's like, Sakura, you're starting to care more about your friends, huh? That's the thing. Sakura from episode 1, and we're only 6 episodes in, but Sakura from episode 1 would have like been like, oh, Hiragi's out, my turn to fight, and wouldn't have cared so much about Hirage, but now he's caring more about him, and Suo's going to point it out. And Sakura blushing, being like, what? He's just pissed me off because he's making fun of us. He's like, sure, Jan. Now calm down, Sakura. He's like, Sako, was it? And then Sako's like, bitch, you talking to me? Oh no. He's like, Hirage is one of the 4 kings of Bofrin, among which he's leading the team named after Tominton. Okay, so we have Tomin's team, Komoku, Jikoku, and Zojo. If Hirage is one of the top 4 under Umamiya, and he's that strong, the other 3 I'm super curious about. Especially the girl. I'm curious. Do you know Tominton's other name? And he's like, huh? I love it. I love the first years are so surprised with Hirage getting up. He's like, it's been a while since I got kicked that hard. And then he just waylays towards him. Oh, love it. Yep. He's like, I showed a pathetic side of me. I like that he recognized Sako getting tougher. And so it says the Bisha Monten, the god of war who controls the battlefield. I love the shot of it's Hirage with the samurai and has like the deity with the fire ring around them. But he has like the spear, has the leather pants with the guards on it, which, y'all, the gold chains, the cape. He also is holding like an iPod in one hand. Love it. The god of war who controls the battlefield. Dude, Hirage as the strategist, I love it. You got a first year yelling at me, how embarrassing. He's like, all the medicine in the world won't help me. I like that he's just like, let me take my my Tums here and then we'll get back to it. That look from Sako is so just absolutely savage. That shot of Sako looks so brutal, where he's just like, I'm sorry, what? That might be the thumbnail, where he's just so pissed. Because he's like, are you looking down on me after all I've done? I still don't measure up to you. Like, bitch, what? Ugh. So we get the Flash sudden backstory. I wanted to go back to the little backpacks that we had here of Hiragi's backpack. There's like a Music City, like a Born AC/DC-esque, the little vinyl. And he sees poor Sako getting beat up. Sako, who looks like the most innocent angel being. And then Hirage goes to rescue him. So it cuts back to the two of them fighting. And they're like, come on, man. It's such a good fight. I like that Narai was just ashes by the end of it. Narai was just like petrified. And Sakura's like, yeah, this is what I came to see. This is what I came to Bofurin for. And Suo was like, well, yeah, the Four Kings of Bofurin. They're not called that for just decoration. He's like, well, if he's that if he's that strong, he should have gone all out from the get-go. I love Sakura. He's great. He's like, maybe he may have been that strong to begin with, but, you know, I feel like there's a part of Hirage, though, that kind of, and I can understand Sako being insulted, because there's probably a part of Hirage that went a little easy at first, because he didn't know how to gauge Sako, and he was trying to, like, feel him out. But Sako probably would be offended by that, so what can we do? So, yeah. I like that there's parts of this episode where you look at Togami and you can't quite see what he's thinking. He's just kind of like looking at the fight, being like, Hiragi's got the upper hand. He's like, damn it. Okay, so, oh, bitch, here's the thing. So we have you hang out with that crowd and live a cushy life. So you see Hirage walking next to Umamiya. We see the 3 lines. You see Kiyotaro with the 1. The one with the hood up that I think has like the gas mask or something, them and the girl that we think is a girl, you don't see what their stripes on their jackets are, so you can't tell if they're first, second, or third years. Bitch, that's not fair. That's not fair. Now, the one guy that looks like Inamaki from Jujutsu Kaisen, he has a 2, so he's a second year. Interesting. Interesting. I'm so curious. And I get why Sako would think that Hirage had led a cushy life, because Bofurin, they're kind of known as these like protectors. And I think they get a reputation of, from what it sounds like, from Sako's perspective, the reputation is that they don't fight a lot. They're just protectors, and it makes them like weaker. No, not exactly the case, as we see in this episode, but that's the reputation that he had. And so Sako in the past followed Hirage, who is a little shark-teethed, adorable little bean who offers to teach him how to fight. And he's like, people just naturally gravitated towards you. Some of the one guy, he looks like he's with Bofurin right now. So here's the rub, though. He's like, I thought I could genuinely walk proud behind this guy. Here's the thing. And of course, it's with like cherry blossoms. This whole episode, this scene of this episode was like a damn breakup. Like them like getting it all out of their systems. He's like, Hirage, he's like, I'm sure you can take the top spot at Bofurin. Someone like you should stand above everyone else. I'll do anything for you to be at the top. But back then, Bofurin wasn't unified yet. And you would take the top spot. I seriously thought I would watch it happen up close. So here's the thing. We know that Hirage is a third year. So they're graduating middle school when this flashback is. And we know that Umamiya got everything turned around 2 years ago. So with this being a year before that happened, Umamiya, we get the understanding from this episode that Umamiya had in the works things to go down when he joined the school as a first year. Like, he had it in the works to make change, and he was gathering a team. He was gathering a team of Avengers to go into Bofurin and turn things around and clean up the school. He was gathering folks to do that, and he'd already reached out to Hirage and been like, hey, I'm assembling a team. You want to be in on this? And Hirage said yes. Hirage said yes. So that's interesting to know that this was kind of premeditated. It wasn't just they joined the school and then decided to change things. They were going into the school as freshmen, as first years, with that intent in mind. That's Crazy. Okay, that gives us some context. And here's the thing about it too. Sako's like, if things had been like they used to be, where it was a chain and you just like rose to the top, he thought that Hirage would take the top spot. But Hiragi's like, I'm not interested in that. And the thing about it is, part of me was like, well, why doesn't Sako just join with Hirage to go to Furin and join Umemiya? But Hirage kind of realizes, he's like, Sako is not a strong enough fighter yet. If I take him to Furin and he gets in the middle of everything, I can't help Umemiya and help him at the same time. And I don't want to make him suffer. I don't want to put him in a dangerous situation. So it's safer for him to go somewhere else and not go to Furin and carve his own way and make his own way. And the sad part about it is that there's part of Hirage that I don't think realized the extent of how much Sako was following him and the extent of how heartbreaking it was when he told him to go a separate way. He's like, I decided to support this guy named Umemiya over at Furin. If he follow me. This line here, he said, even if you follow me, there's no way things will end up the way you're expecting. There's a couple ways you could read that. One is he's like, I am not going to be fighting Umemiya and taking the top spot. I've already decided that, so you're not going to get your way. Two, because I'm not at the top, like at their school, it seemed like Hirage was at the top. So he could like enforce Sako being protected. He's like, if we go to Furin, I'm not at the top. I'm not top dog. I can't protect you. You might get in trouble, and I don't want that. But if you read between the lines, it was also suggesting he's like, Sako, this ain't gonna work out between us. And I'm like, had he met Tachibana by that point and decided, I was like, oh, you just got friend zoned so hard, my dude. Poor Sako, you got friend zoned hard. You need to find a new goal on your own. He's like, I haven't committed to being bisexual yet, so you're gonna have to go off. Oh my God. And then that's why he ended up just beating up people and just getting his rage out. And that's when Togami's like, hey, you're good at beating the shit out of people. Want to join our gang? Like, him with like the blood all over his hands. Terrifying. Also, Togami with his hair down. Also terrifying. The stronger recognize, the stronger you are, the higher you'll go. And that's exactly the type of ladder that Sako was expecting for Hirage to go up. But he's like, I don't care. I just want to be strong enough to defeat him and make him regret it. He's like, I didn't get chummy with anyone. I devoted myself to getting stronger. But I feel like part of the lesson of this show is that brute strength and climbing and being devotees of power isn't enough. You have to be able to connect with people. You have to be able to have a higher purpose than just, I'm fighting to be strong. There has to be more to it than that. And I feel like Hirage, in devoting himself to protecting the town, has allowed himself to have more freedom to get stronger versus Sako, who's limited himself by his own goals. So that's interesting. And that's going to kind of lead to where I'm getting at with Togami, but we're not quite there yet. And yeah, these two men in their black tight pants fighting it out. You decided to fall under someone else. He's like, I'm sorry I couldn't meet your expectations. And Hiragi's like, look, I didn't fall under somebody else. I just chose this. I'm sorry that's not what you wanted, but that was my choice to make. So sorry about that. Oh, and then he just gut punches him. Oh, the kidney punch is not a fun time. Not a fun time. Oh. So he collapses and everybody's like, oh my God. He's like, and then we go back to that scene. I knew all along that you were looking out for me, but I didn't want you to tell me not follow you. That was the one thing I didn't want you to tell me. And I feel for Sako because I'm sure, from his perspective, Hirage just discards him. But it was really Hirage, like if you could also look at it as if you love someone, let them go. You could look at it that way. I mean, a heartbreaking breakup with the little bridge separating them. Oh. And he's like, yeah, you always had been who I aspired to become. It's not too late, Sako. You can still become like Hirage. We have faith in you. I didn't care where you were and who you were supporting. I simply wanted to follow you. I wanted you to say, follow me. But here's the thing. Hirage is not the type of person to say, follow me. That's not Hirage. From what we've seen of him so far, he very much is someone that's like, let me help you. Let me help you be able to stand on your own 2 feet. Let me help you get to where you can protect yourself. But he's not the type of person that says, follow me. He's not gathering sheep. It's not Hirage. Ugh. And so he collapses. Togumi's pissed. But we're going to get to that. And then we have, like, I swear this one scene has been everywhere in every anime. This little hillside here has been in Haikyuu. It has been in Run with the Wind. It has been in, what is it? The High School Boys, Daily Lives of High School Boys. It has been in Mob Psycho. It has been in, Blooming to You. It's been in everything. That one side of the hill has been in every single anime. I mean, I love it, but it is very iconic. And so, yeah. And just Hirage looking off into the sun. Hirage looking into the distance at, what's to come in the future. But Sako's looking at Hirage instead of the sunset. Oh. And he's like, I'll follow you forever, Hirage. He's like, what's this all of a sudden? He's like, I already made up my mind. You're a guy who'll take the top spot. And when you're taking the top spot, even after that, I will always follow you. And Rocky's like, oh shucks. Oh, shucks, you follow me. That's awfully nice of you. I mean, there's this girl I like. Poor Sako. Poor Sako. If you still ship Sako and Hirage, I think that's totally valid. I could see it. There is a part of me that kind of likes the bittersweetness of if Hirage is like, I actually like Tachibana and I'm sorry, and friend zones him. I like a little bit of the angst of that, but I could also take it between the two of them. I feel like there is a moment where Hirage, like, at first I was like, oh, Hirage, did you friend zone Sako? But then as soon as he gets out of the flashback and he gently he doesn't bridal carry Sako, but he hoists him up like a romantic sack of potatoes and hoists him to the edge of the stage. Man, and Togumi just being like, you guys gonna go pick him up? He's like, look. Oh, Ragi. Oh, Choji was calling Ragi Hirage. Got it. He's like, I don't care who, but go pick him up. And Hiragi's like, no, it's fine. And he just carries him over his shoulder like a damn sack of potatoes. But then he like gently puts him down onto the ground. I'm like, bitch, it's over. It's over. Now, this part here where Togumi was about to like take his jacket off and Hiragi's like, how about you wait until after your one-on-one? And here's the thing. I was thinking that we were going to have Bofrin win 2 matches and have Shishitorin win 2 matches. And then it was going to come down to Choji versus Umemiya. And Umemiya was going to win. And thus everything was settled. But I don't think that's the point of this. The point is what Hirage brings up here. He's like, how you do things here is not good. He's like, having whoever loses a battle leave your ranks. He's like, that terrifies your members, and that's not cool, and that's not building. You're not team bonding this way, as you know. And of course, Togumi's like, don't tell me how to do my group. Let me do my thing. And I think the reason why Hirage is like, you need to wait till after your match with Sakura. You don't know what's going to happen. That was basically Hirage being like, you're about to take this jacket off one of your top 5 and kick him out. What happens when you lose the next match against Sakura and you're kicked out? Are you going to be a hypocrite or are you going to stand by your word? I think he's like, don't get yourself in a corner because it's going to look really embarrassing when you have to kick yourself out of your own group. I think that's what he was meaning in that moment. And Togumi's like, he's like, you're getting the cart before the horse, aren't we? It's like, this is me talking to myself, but I don't think doing this stuff will make your team stronger. And he's like, yeah, how about you mind your own business? And everybody's like, good work, Hirage. I can't ask anything about the opponent. So I like Umemiya being like, so that was a great roundhouse kick. And Hiragi's like, are you not going to ask about me and Sako? And Umemiya's like, no, You'll tell me when you're ready. He's like, I'll have my hot chocolate mug all set to go. He's like, I don't want to hear it. When you want to talk, you can tell me then. That's the story I want to hear. He's like, I don't want to pry it out of you now. Also, we're about to watch another match. Good. Love it. So, yeah. And then we talk about the jackets of Shishitorin, that they're baseball jackets. Their origins come as souvenir jackets from the military folks stationed at Yokosuka. So that's cool. The designs often have an East Asian feel, like with dragons and tigers. And I like Sakura's like, man, you really know a lot about this. I triggered something in this guy's head. So, yeah, okay. Really good episode. Freaking like Sako a whole lot. If things don't work out with Shishitorin, I would be all on board with Sako like transitioning over to Bofurin, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think that, I don't know, I could kind of see it going both ways. There's a part of me that's like, is Togami going to lose against Sakura and be like forced to leave his own group? Or is he going to win against Sakura and then Umemiya has to step in and be like, okay, we've had enough. I don't know. But I really like this episode. It gave me a whole new appreciation for Hiragi's character, and I really like Sako. So I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for you, Sako. I am indeed. So anyway, I'm super excited to know your thoughts down below about this episode. But next week's going to get spicy, and I'm super ready. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yes, I'll be back next week with episode 7 of Windbreaker. Bye!